Kathleen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your ties to Mora and Kanabec County and how people may know you.
Okay, I was born in Mora and grew up here, went to all the Mora public schools, and graduated in the class of 2000. And my parents still live here. My dad's a dentist here, and I come home for the holidays and sometimes over the summer. So I still have strong ties to Mora and still like to come to visit.
Now, you've moved in the last few years. Talk about where you're living now and what you're up to.
Yep, I live in Seattle, Washington. I went to college at Gonzaga University in Spokane and moved to Seattle after I graduated and have lived there ever since.
How do you make a living?
I'm an accountant for Group Health Cooperative. I do their investment accounting.
Now, you have a kind of a, well, maybe not unusual, but you have a little bit of a different hobby. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started doing triathlon about 5 years ago after spending several years as a runner. I decided to branch out and do, 3-discipline sport, and did a few sprint distance triathlons, which are much shorter and take about an hour and 15 minutes the most for me. And then moved into half Ironman distance for a few summers, and then in 2008 I did my first Ironman competition and have done that for the past couple years.
What exactly is an Ironman competition? I know involves 3 different...
Yes, a full Ironman distance race includes a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike, and then a 26.2 mile run, so you finish with the marathon.
How long does it typically take you or the average person to complete such a race?
Well, the course is open for 17 hours, so Ironman sanctioned events usually start at 7 a.m. and they close the race at midnight. So if you finish at 12:01, you're not considered a full or official finisher. But the races that I've done, my first Ironman took just under 12 hours, and my fastest Ironman I finished in 10 hours and 42 minutes this past June in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
How many have you done all together in the last 2 or 3 years?
I've done 5. I've done the one in Coeur d'Alene 3 times. I did the one in Madison, Wisconsin once last summer, and most recently did the one in Kona.
And which is what I wanted to talk to you about,
Yes.
that Kona, Hawaii, and that took place on October 9th. Tell us a little bit about the event, and your coming back from Hawaii. That's got to be kind of cool.
Yeah, so Kona, going to Kona is definitely an experience that every serious triathlete tries to get to. It's the World Championship, so it's the best of the best, and it's very difficult to qualify. I tried last year and was very close. I was within 90 seconds of qualifying at one of my races, and realized that I had to up my game a little bit for this year's races and in chance of qualifying, which is what I was able to do in June. And so getting to Kona was an accomplishment in itself, and it was something that I've been dreaming about for a few years. And so when I finally got to Kona, I wanted to put together a good race and realized that I probably did not have a chance of placing since it was the world's best and the competition is very, very tight. But was able to put together a pretty good race while I was there. Yeah, so there are a certain number of Kona spots for every qualifying race, and they're allocated based on the number of participants in each age group. I happen to be in the women 25 to 29 age group, and so, for example, if 10% of the athletes are women 25 to 29, 10% of the Kona spots will go to that age group. This year there were 3 spots in my age category in Coeur d'Alene, and I happened to win the race, so I didn't have to worry about, if it was going to 3 spots or only 2 spots. I was guaranteed at least, each age category is guaranteed at least 1 spot. So after winning, I knew I was going to go to Kona.
Strongest of the 3 for you, and maybe the weakest of the 3 for you?
Yeah, certainly. It used to be the run. Honestly, I've done over 40 marathons, and I'm usually quite comfortable once I get to the run. But in preparation for this year's season, I started spending a lot more time on my bike, and the workouts got a lot harder, and I was doing mile repeats after work most weeknights, and have really become a strong cyclist. So I moved into second place, I think, on the bike this year, and then the girl who was in front of me in Coeur d'Alene this year ended up dropping out of the race, and I gained first place position before she dropped out. But so definitely the bike. This year in Coeur d'Alene, I had a bike split that was up there among some of the pros, and then I'm able to hold on the run and usually put together a decent run time. But so that would lead me to the swim. I'm definitely the weakest on the swim. You know, I'm out there competing with women who have been swimming their entire life, and no matter how much I try and get in the pool, it's hard to compete with people who've spent years and years swimming, 3 hours a day, and swimming, have been swimming since age 5. So, but luckily the swim is relatively short, so even if I'm in the middle of the pack coming out of the water, I can pick up some time on the bike and then on the run. Yeah, so training for an Ironman, I would say for a pretty decent athlete will take about 6 months. If you want to do it right, and you also kind of have some cushion time in there in case something goes wrong or if an injury flares up or something. So last year I started my training in January and got a lot of base miles on the bike and on the run, and just kind of maintained my swim distance for several months. And during my peak training, I'm training about 20 to 22 hours a week. And that usually includes probably 3 swim workouts, 3 run workouts, and several bike workouts. Usually during the work week, since I do have a full-time job, I might have, let's say, a morning swim and then an evening run. So during the week, it might be 12 hours of working out or so, Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays tend to be my heaviest day of workouts. My longest workouts leading up to a big race like Kona or the Ironman in Coeur d'Alene was, for each race, I did a 125-mile bike ride followed by an hour run. So those are usually pretty full days. And then, the next day might be followed by a 3-hour recovery ride or a long run. Yeah, I've always been fairly athletic, and I guess I try not to take it for granted, but it's allowed me to try a lot of different sports. And when I was at Moore High School, I played tennis and I played golf and I cross-country skied some. So those don't necessarily parlay into a strong triathlete background, but just given overall fitness, it was a pretty smooth transition to becoming an endurance athlete for me. I certainly don't worry too much about my exercise levels because I think I get enough, and I'm among friends who are kind of like-minded, and they emphasize getting a lot of exercise, and I think it's just kind of in our blood. Once you reach a certain point, it's just part of your routine. It's it's like brushing your teeth or washing your face every day. You just kind of feel a little off if you weren't able to get in a certain amount of exercise per day.
Do you think that's instilled by parents or high school coaches, or is it more maybe a little bit genetics or a combination? Or how do you think that some people are active like you, and maybe some people like me aren't so active?
I think it's a combination. If I wasn't doing triathlon, I'm sure I would still try and get out and run, or try and get out and get on my bike. Even if I wasn't trying to peak for performance or anything like that, I really enjoy the fresh air, and I love the endorphins, and I would feel a little off if I wasn't getting that on a daily basis. Well, I'm definitely in a rest period right now. Kona, the race was on October 9th, and I gave myself about a month of very light exercise, and I allowed myself 1 bike ride and 1 run a week, and then I could swim and do yoga or whatever other events were going on. I could do that, but I didn't want to be tied to any schedule. I'd spent about 9 months in serious training mode, and it was nice to not wake up for 6 a.m. swim practice 3 days a week or, worry about that. So I'm kind of in a rest period right now, although I'm doing a marathon in January, so I'm back to kind of some hard run workouts these days. And I belong to a bike team, and I try and get out on my bike as much as I can, and I'm trying to get back to those more early morning swim workouts again. So I'm definitely keeping fit and keeping active, mostly because I enjoy it too, and I also don't want it to be such a drastic change when I do start Ironman training again, which will begin in January.
Great. Kathleen, thanks for your time and
Yep.
good luck.
Thank you.
All right.